And we're live. What's good, everybody? It's Game Talk. I'm your host, Gangster. I'm here with Brimstone,
Hello.
RevTech,
What's up, guys?
and my boy Blue.
Hi.
How's everybody doing today?
Half asleep for me.
In
Sorry,
shock that a
sorry.
sports legend died today. I'm
Oh,
shocked
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, Kobe, right?
Yeah, that's kind of shocking. If you're a basketball fan.
I mean, I'm not, but I know Kobe. You know, shame to see him go. Wouldn't wish that on anybody.
And died in a helicopter crash, malfunctioning, just straight down into the mountainside. Jesus.
Ain't that crazy?
That
Some
is so
shit.
crazy, dude. That is like, life is short, man. That's the adage, man. That life is short.
Dude,
Almost like you shouldn't do it.
apparently, especially for celebrity entertainers.
Hey, man, that's 30 minutes away from me. Calabasas is not that far from me.
Because wasn't it? I mean, it was just like, who's the one?
It's kind of
Somebody-
doxing yourself there.
Paul Walker, man, same thing. Like, freak accident, man.
Yeah,
And
wasn't he
what's her
speeding,
name?
though?
There was a chick singer that died in a plane crash. It was Kobe Bryant, Jack. Fuck, I can't remember. Like, it was, it's not Beyonce or whatever, but it was another pretty famous.
You said
female
Beyonce.
singer. I know, right?
If only. I'm just joking.
If only. But yeah,
I was joking.
crazy.
Yeah, see, like, if I ever was to get money, though, dude, I wouldn't just be going out and be like, yo, got me a helicopter today. Like,
Man,
fuck
and
that,
his
dude.
family and his 4 kids, man. That's to lose a father like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, life's fucking crazy. It's almost like you should just enjoy the things you have now.
Damn, Jack, you don't know
Yep.
who Kobe Bryant is?
He's the greatest player of all time in basketball. One of
Do you
them.
know? Wait, Jack, do you know the Kobe meme? Where everyone goes Kobe or whatever? Do you know that
Kobe!
meme?
Yeah,
Because that meme's kind of about him.
I usually say that during sex. No, I'm just kidding. Speaking of
Jesus.
sex, Pete, what's with that blister on your lip, dog?
Fucking zits, man. I don't get them all that often
Almost
anymore,
like-
but when I do, they're fucking nasty.
It's almost like you should get that taken care of.
He's
and
like,
clean your
but when I
Probably.
do, I eat my girl's ass on the weekend.
That's right, baby.
I mean, isn't
Ugh.
eating ass an art form though? So it's okay.
Apparently. I don't know. Ask Metro.
I thought it wasn't.
Yeah, Jack, I have not watched basketball in forever. So, I mean, I know Kobe just because he's super famous and all, but yeah, it's not like I watched him play or anything. My mom's really into the Kings, so.
I'm not into sports ball.
You're not into sports because you're a Canadian.
Nah, fucking snow Mexicans. Stick to your
Listen,
hot
here-
heat.
No. Snow Mexicans are technically Eskimos, sir. All right.
2 walls. Put one up north for you fuckers too.
I mean, we'll help you build that wall.
Yeah, wouldn't want to catch the coronavirus, right?
Nope, that's already getting taken care of here. Vaccines and everything. America's not the only one that's prepared.
But speaking of deadly viruses coming out of China, so the coronavirus hits, and all of a sudden Plague Inc. sales like double over the week that it was announced. And so
That's fucking terrible, dog.
No,
Jesus.
it gets better though, because Steam, in their savageness, I don't see how this could have been a coincidence, but Steam decides to put Plague Inc. on sale for half off for the Chinese New Year. Dark joke of the decade. I gotta give it to Steam right now, man.
It's
So-
the decade barely started.
I
think
don't
you can say
care.
that.
I don't care. We're not gonna see a. I'm calling it now, man. We're not gonna find a. We're not gonna see a better one this year, or I mean, this decade.
Didn't they do one? Do an airplane simulator cell because of the whole 9/11 situation? Didn't they do that? I'm pretty sure
I
they did
seem
that.
to recall something
Well,
like that.
Hold on, a little update on the Kobe Bryant thing. His daughters died in the crash too.
Oh
Jesus!
shit! Really?
Yeah, all three.
Wow.
What about the
Man.
wife? Is she just scarred?
That's what my mom is saying. I think his whole family went gone. I think they
Damn,
were
just like-
all five in the plane crash. Yeah.
She's like that. Your whole family just disappears like that.
Yeah. That's
a shame.
insane. That is
Yeah,
that's
Jack.
insane.
I've seen a whole bunch of posts about and the video of that chick who's supposedly, I mean, take everything with a grain of salt, but supposedly she's a nurse who works in China in the hospital, or a hospital, and she's saying that the outbreak is way, way worse than what the Chinese officials and the government are saying, because they're claiming.
Oh well, never mind. The first what is it? Patient with the corona had been diagnosed with the coronavirus here in LA.
Good quarantine that guy and send him all the way to Mexico.
Right. Fuck. But yeah, because I think the Chinese government is saying only a few hundred people have caught it or something like that, or maybe like 1,000, but she's saying it's 90,000. So
Jesus.
yeah, like again, take everything. We got no idea. It's hard with fucking.
Take it a grain of salt. Wait for verifiable information.
Here's the thing,
Than
though.
just one
We might
person.
never get verification because getting verification from people in China are, it's like.
I understand that, but
The
it's like,
government's never
are you
going to
gonna-
verify anything like that, and verifying it from
Yeah, but
people
for
is like.
at the very least, wait for multiple people from China to be saying
Sure,
that. Not,
yeah, fair
not
enough.
one person, because you can't just get one person in
Sure.
the word of the gospel.
Sure.
Intended.
But yeah, so aren't they working on a cure for Corona? Yeah, I believe there's already
a vaccine.
Yeah, there's already a
There's-
vaccine.
Yeah, they already have a vaccine. It's a man-made virus. They're already working on. They already have a cure for it. We'll all get vaccinated. Part of it.
And
Even if you have to grab those anti-vaxxers and strap them to a chair and force it into them.
yeah, but
Which I'm all
and on the
but-
conspiracy side of things.
Oh, and by the way, they debunked his kids dying. By the way, they debunked that. ESPN did. They debunked that because it was
Oh,
going on
okay.
that his kids died. Yeah, and his wife.
Well, there were other people in the helicopter with him
There
when
were
he
6
crashed.
people. Six grand total people that died all in the crash. Hit the
So
hit
it was
the
just him and
mountainside.
his friends, right?
probably.
God, at least it's not that bad then. Because it would have been fucking his whole family just disappeared like a blimp on the map, just gone.
That would be shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be shitty.
But the coronavirus, they do have the antivirus for it, for us. So I'm not worried about
Well, and
it.
this leads more credence to that conspiracy theory that China stole the coronavirus from Canada and then weaponized
Why would
it.
Canada have the coronavirus?
The same reason we
Because-
have viruses in,
It's
like
the
the
same
CDC
reason
and
why
shit.
Yeah, like they have
Research.
Canada and the United States between the two of our two nations, bro. Like we have the largest collection of viruses at a concentrated level. Like it is ridiculous.
Okay,
They do it.
never
They
mind.
do
I
it
get what you're
for.
saying.
They do it for research, and they're doing it for
Yeah,
cures and stuff. So
Yeah, I just realized that part, but
Yeah. So
how are like this whole operation? If that happened, let's say if this is true, which I'm giving it like a 40 to 30% chance of it being true.
The pendulum could swing either way.
right.
If let's say if it is true, ain't that a declaration of war? Stealing a virus and trying to do what's it called? What's that warfare
I mean,
called?
kinda.
yeah, kinda not. It's
What's
not like
the Would it be biowarfare?
It's probably why they stole from Canada, because Canada's like, oh, it's okay, we got money.
No, that'd still be a big deal even if they stole it from Canada. AA.
I don't
They're
know,
like, oh,
man.
it's okay, we got like 3 more vials.
What would you
We're
guys
doing
do?
pretty
Send the
good,
Mounties after them? I don't think they could cross the Bering Strait anymore on their horses.
With muzzle loading rifles.
Right? Hey,
I mean,
give us
yeah.
back our virus.
Opponent claimed zone.
At worst, probably just America will do it for us.
Yeah, that we would.
Zone B.
But just like Canada, to let America do the dirty work. Take that knife, bitch.
I mean, yeah, that's how it works. I mean, if it is true, you'll probably just have to deal with China.
Speaking of some news, Windows 7 going open source probably.
Possibly, yeah.
Yes, I hope
Which-
it does, man.
Yes. I mean, like I was saying before, like this really is gonna have to
400
be.
million people. 400 million people are still on Windows 7. So
Well, not just
I
it's not
mean,
the
perfect
it's not the
timing.
regular people, right? There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing stopping people with Windows 7 from just keep using their Windows 7 computers, right? They'll just have security holes, and software might not be as either optimized or functional because of compatibility and all that. But the big
Right.
thing is businesses and stuff, because businesses are way slower than regular customers.
They could probably get away with it with just changing the name of it.
Maybe. I mean,
I
like I said,
mean-
this is going to eventually go to the courts for real, because it's like, what happens to software after it's been abandoned? Like, can you still hold on to a copyright to a software that you are no longer
Keep pushing.
working? You know,
You
like
shouldn't be
not-
able to. You shouldn't be able to, honestly.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not a book, right? This isn't a movie or a book or something that doesn't get altered once it's been made, or at least not like, not like software does. But software, like, especially an operating system, because it's one thing for like a game, but even with like that, I mean, I would love to see if
Windows
companies
7.
would.
I would
Go
love
ahead.
to see to answer that, Jack. To really answer that, I would like to see Windows 7 continue, because I want more alternatives to Windows 10. Actually, I'm more for it.
Nice.
To
What's
give
wrong
us an
with Windows
alternative.
10?
Windows 10 is a plaguing mess at times.
At times, yeah. Certain things. Yep.
Certain things are just incompatible with Windows 10.
Like I keep saying, they
I'd love to see-
take a step forward and then a step back. I just figured out in one of the new updates, Windows 10 changed how they regard audio sources in Windows. So you can't see before a browser, Chrome, Firefox, any of them, right? We're stuck on using the default audio device, because most browsers don't have an option within the browser to change which audio device you're using. Now
Right.
you can go into Windows settings, and for every application on your computer, you can directly choose which audio output it goes to. Like, great job, Windows. But the problem is that when they did that, it fucked up a whole bunch of shit for audio drivers and stuff.
The reason you don't hear anybody talking about it anymore is because a lot of the companies foregoed Windows 7. So, like, if you bought a new system, you weren't able to install it at all on your system unless you tried backdoor tricks, but it didn't even work. Like, if you go to Ryzen right now, or a new i7 or whatever, before the ended life of it, you weren't able to you weren't really able to do shit. You weren't able it would install, or it would launch, and then it wouldn't detect your drives or anything because of how the UEFI BIOS is. So, I tried to go back to Windows 7 at one point, but there's no way of it.
There is a fix for that, by the way.
Yes, there is.
Loading up the UEFI RAID drivers for your motherboard. It's complicated because you have to do it in the actual Windows install, because, yeah, anyway, we don't have to get into that. But
Well, I'm pretty happy that somebody's going to be working on it, or a team's going to be working on it. My hope, they just reword it, change the name of it, and change a few things on it so they don't get in trouble with licensing issues.
I mean,
Opponent claimed zone B. Opponent.
I don't know, man. It's just like
what I would like to
Windows
see
7.
is for companies that make software to simply make their stuff open source after they've abandoned it willingly.
Yeah.
That would be it'd be so much nicer to not have to go through this shit in the courts and stuff. So
Here's the
that's what
article
I'd like
for
to
it.
see. But voice chat like the actual audio. I don't know anything about that, Jack.
I mean that's cool. That's going open source, but it's just like, man.
Well,
do you
no,
really
we
want
don't.
to go back to
That's the
Windows
thing. We
7?
don't know for sure because Microsoft
But yeah,
can. Microsoft
Yeah.
can take them to court.
I would love to see it because it means there's
said
more
FP.
compatibilities
Yeah.
over Windows 10 and it's much easier to use. I mean, over Windows 10. Because Windows 10, there's a lot of, if you dive deep into Windows 10, there's a lot of things that they have changed since Windows 7. Not for the good, for the bad, and they
Oh,
keep putting
Jesus.
things over walls that you have to go through in Windows. Like Pete was saying about, or Gangster was saying about, audio. They just literally have made it audio literally like they had audio problems to begin with Windows 10 when it first came out, and it's still having issues. Not everything is grass is greener on Windows 10.
Yeah, the majority of things though.
Jesus.
I've used Windows 7, and yeah, I don't want to go back.
Yeah, I'm a fan of 10, but I understand why people like 7 better. Like I really do. Especially for compatibility issues with a lot of software and stuff.
Yeah, but also your graphics card drivers don't even support Windows 7 anymore. So
Wow, that was my big problem is that Ryzen wasn't supported on Windows 10, or 7. So I was kind of stuck. But
I mean, yeah,
it
'cause
is
they
what
can't
it
just
is.
they can't just
Well,
keep
that's
going back to the old
this
software.
is the thing. Well, this is the thing, right? You can't make everything compatible for everything, and eventually, as nobody's making
Time
drivers for Windows 98 anymore or XP, even though XP was great. It's like it's too old. Nobody's using that shit anymore. Or the few people who are, like, they're not buying new hardware, obviously.
Well, I'm
So,
just glad Windows 10 is going back to the old way of service packs. I'm kind of cool with that.
yes.
I'm actually pretty excited for that. I mean, the first service pack we're supposed to be getting in March, and it's supposed to just mature the update that we got back in November. So I'm pretty happy with that. And
I
they're
think that's going to
focusing-
solve a lot of their problems going to the service pack style update, because that gives developers for, especially hardware companies, the chance to change their drive. Because like I said, with the audio thing, it was great, the changes that they made to Windows 10 audio. Like, I love a bunch of the changes because it gives you a bunch of control that you didn't have before. The problem is that now all these drivers for audio devices are not working right because they're not doing the right things or whatever it is. So
Well, the thing is, they're giving manufacturers a chance to breathe because it gives them 6 months of time
Right.
to work on all their issues.
So, yeah, I mean, hopefully that should solve a lot of the problems that Windows 10 has. And if it does, then I'm all on board with Windows 10, because then we don't really need Windows 7 anymore. Because that's the main thing that people like with Windows 7.
And this falls in line with the next two articles. Psyonix is ending support for Rocket League on both Linux and Mac.
Yep.
That's ending supposedly due to
Because they're updating their DirectX.
yeah.
Yeah, they're going DirectX 12, and that is not supported currently on any distro of Linux, as far as I know, except for...
I think that's more of a move of Epic than it is Psyonix, I think.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, but it's gonna have to
Thanks,
happen
Epic.
eventually. Like, no,
Yeah, it was bound to happen.
yeah, that's the
eventually
thing.
anyway.
Like, we've been
Thanks, Epic,
holding
yeah.
on to DirectX 9, 10, and 11 for fucking a decade past its usefulness. Even though 12 is so much superior. So
For security updates on Windows, they're for big businesses they are, but for us as an average consumer, no. For consumers,
And-
no. They end up
and it's not like
supporting-
those updates are comprehensive or anything. I mean, those are just going to be bare bones security updates that plug like the biggest of holes and shit like that.
And supposedly you have to pay for that. If you're a business, you have to pay for that.
Well, if
Supposedly
you're,
to get
yeah,
those
you got to pay
updates.
for that anyway. Like, business using Windows business in a business environment.
Yeah, I think
is
it's
way
stupid,
different
Jack.
than using it.
Honestly, I think it's stupid, but Windows is Windows. Either you get basically what they're doing is they're saying get with the times. That's what they're doing. Get with it or be left behind.
I mean, they
Well, it
held
can't
on to
cater to
support for
everyone
7
forever.
for a, yeah, that's the thing. They held on to support for 7 for a long ass time. So, you know,
Let the
as
wolves
much as it
rise.
sucks,
The hunt
it is what it is. Yeah, software can't be supported forever. Hardware can't be supported forever. You know, there's time limits. There. Imagine if developers for drivers for graphics cards and shit were forced to still make drivers for fucking like,
claim zone A.
Windows 95 and DOS and shit, even if there was no possible way to do it. And all it did was take time for people who never. I mean, eventually these things have to die. Nobody's using DOS anymore except on like.
Well, Jack, I think it's stupid, but I understand why they're doing it. I get it. Why they discontinued support, extended support, and why they did it is because originally it was supposed to be supported until 20. I think it was 2022, and then they speeded up the process because they realized, a lot of people are on Windows 10 at this point. And Windows 8.1 starting to end of life is in the next year or two, actually, too.
Fuck. That was wrong. Yeah, that's a lie. It can live on forever. Well, yeah, it'll run for forever. I mean, you can go and buy a machine that runs DOS and install DOS, and it'll still run. It's just not supported anymore.
Zone A captured.
So it's like, what do you mean by it'll live on for forever?
It'll die off when drivers just stop being supported by it.
Yeah,
And you're
you know.
got so many security holes.
It
3
happens.
minutes left.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you're still on Windows 7, upgraders you need to upgrade or you're done. Just like
Well, gaming's going the way of Windows 10 because of DirectX 12.2 and ASIC computing is happening this
Exactly.
year. So
And they can't-
there's
and what's
really
the
no
point of-
point. If they really wanted to redo Windows 7, they would have to include DirectX 12 because part of the kernel of Windows 10 is DirectX 12. They
Yeah.
baked that in. There's no way they could do that on Windows 7, unless if it goes open source and a big team works on it, like they're saying it's going to happen. Then I could see it, but I highly doubt it. They would have to re-overhaul that whole operating system and a lot of man hours and money wasted.
yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't see that happening. If it's gonna take a lot of time, I don't see it happening.
Unless they get a big amount of money and donate it to whoever's doing it and working on it, then that opens up a whole can of worms. Because Microsoft could potentially, because it's their software and their proprietary software, they could sue whoever they want after the fact in court.
Yep.
Under the Digital Millennial Act, they wanted to, technically. Because then at that point it'd be pirate software considered.
Wasn't Windows 8 the notorious OS?
Flames have gone.
I mean, it was a notorious OS.
It was a terrible OS.
Yeah,
Windows 8.1 was
kind of
like
all the
Vista over
worst
again.
parts of both 10 and was the immature parts of 10 that they never should have put in there with some
That
of
was
the worst
Steve
parts of
Ballmer's
7.
baby. That's what got him forced out of Windows, out of Microsoft as CEO because of that software and the phones.
One more kill than me, Blue.
But the phones wasn't Steve Ballmer's fault. It was the fact that they tried to throw money at developers, and that's why the OS died the way it did, because no developer, it was too complex to work on it. That's what it was. When they can go to Android or Apple and make their apps simple and it just works.
Java, yep.
Like Todd Howard says, it just works.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
And about Psionics, I mean, I knew that was coming because they just redid, Wine just did 5.0 recently. That's another one that falls in the line for Linux. Now Linux games are 85% supported now on Linux.
Games
Windows
on
games.
Linux, yeah.
Yeah. And
And
that's great. I'm happy
they're
to see an
bringing-
alternative.
DirectX 12 and Vulkan support to Wine, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
which that's going to be the big one.
It makes it much easier if you want to have an alternative, and if you want to use Ubuntu or Pop OS, it makes it much easier now at this point.
I like the way the Linux kernel works though. Like it's just a smoother experience.
That's also the back end of Windows, actually. It's the
Mhm.
Ubuntu kernel.
Yeah, I know. But like when you strip away all the front end bloat like off of Windows 10, it's just so much nicer, dude. Like programs
Not
are more
wrong.
responsive. The what they call it, the performance to the metal's closer, so you don't have to worry about a lot of delayed shit that goes on when you're on Windows 10. So it's like just
It's
so
also
much better,
optimized
dude.
for a lot of things better, like multi-core.
Yeah, multi-core processing, like rendering and
Yeah, because that's
yeah.
one of the big problems with Ryzen and Windows right now is the CPU scheduler flipping threads between cores and shit like that. And Linux does that a lot better.
Well,
know.
if Apple took the software of Windows 7, they would still probably get sued. Even if they changed the name, it falls under that Digital Millennial Act. And it would be considered pirate software, and Microsoft can just go in and just sue the shit out of anybody that works up. That's why nobody's attempted to do it. Because that would have happened years ago with XP. That would have happened years ago with, Windows 98. If that was the case. Everybody's afraid to open up that Pandora's box and go into it and work on it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Time will see. If
I
that
mean, is it
happens.
worth opening up Pandora's box? Because once you open that box, you can't go back.
Well, to some people, yes. It's the same with, I'm a Rocket League player, but, the thing is with Rocket League, what I don't understand is, I just don't understand. They take 10 steps forward and 10 steps back. And I got a lot of friends that play on Linux.
Or when the community complains about the game, still plays and pays anyways.
I
That's what I love.
think it was a Psyonix move. I think it was more of an Epic's move because Epic's been going to DirectX 12 more
Still.
games.
Lucky bitch.
I mean, that's my thing. If you want to go playing something, fine. But if whatever.
Like I said, it's been a high time for games to start coming out DirectX 12 in bigger numbers because we just need to make that jump. Everybody knows DirectX 12 is better. It runs faster than DirectX 11. It's got more options.
And I would like to see more people going to it because the reason
I
why
thought
is
Vulkan
because
was gonna be taken up more than DirectX 12.
Yeah, but that's a hard. DirectX is it's
Vulkan's easy to develop for it, but the problem is a lot of companies, because it's open source, a lot of people go with what works, and what works is DirectX 12.
Yep. It's baked into Windows. It's fully
'Cause
compatible and sorted.
Red Dead for me runs better with Vulkan versus DirectX 12.
Yeah, a lot of things run better with Vulkan.
Yeah.
Doom runs better with Vulkan.
Battlefield 4 ran tits with Vulkan. Or yeah, was it Vulkan by then, or did it switch over sometime?
Well,
in between?
Vulkan is pretty much a subsidiary of DirectX 12. When Microsoft needed help, AMD went in and helped them finish out DirectX 12, and out of it you got Vulkan. AMD made that happen. That's the one thing I like about AMD. They made Vulkan happen, which was cool. But the problem is nobody really utilizes Vulkan very much, except a few developers, and it's pretty much what they use to convert games over to Wine now, Vulkan, because it's much easier.
Oh man, I think Vulkan's better than DirectX 12.
Yes, it is.
They're
Less
almost the
resources.
same thing, but Vulkan's just faster. I think because it has a few less of the DirectX features that Windows uses. But
Well, if you really look at Ubuntu, pretty much there's another company out there called Pop OS, and they do it better than Ubuntu. Honestly, it's a much easier operating system. They take the back end of Ubuntu and make it better. Ubuntu is pretty much the Windows of Linux at this point,
right, yeah.
because all the app developers work on Ubuntu, and then what Pop OS is pretty much a subsidiary of Ubuntu, but it runs a lot better.
Opponent took the lead.
And what's cool about Vulkan is they already have ASIC computing already ready to go. So if you use their developing tools for your game, Crossfire and SLI is supported, so you could have multi GPUs and have great performance.
Well, that's the thing. You don't even need Crossfire or SLI because they'll run parallel, which that's the killer one. Because
that's why
multi GPU is multi GPU is one thing, but having to do Crossfire is or wow, what's the NVIDIA version?
SLI.
SLI. That's the killer because that introduces all sorts of compatibility issues and programming issues and shit like that. With asynchronous compute, you can run any 2, 3, 4 CPUs, GPUs, whatever, and they can all. The problem is that it's now up to the coders because you can run all that in parallel
You bud
processing.
too? Oh, I butcher it all the time. So yeah.
But if the programmers wish to, they can enable support for that kind of thing and offload. One way to do it is you have one GPU actually render the frame, and then you have another GPU do all the post-processing effects and the anti-aliasing and shit like that, which is way faster than trying to do it with SLI or Crossfire, because you don't have to synchronize the two GPUs together and shit like that.
I'm pretty
But
excited for ASIC computing on a.
that's
on Windows
once
10
it's
level.
adopted, it'll be fucking amazing. Especially the big thing is it'll be. I mean, nothing's ever 100%, so it's not like using 2 GPUs will get you 200% performance, but it's way more efficient than either Crossfire or SLI, and it allows for way more options for like a medium duty PC user can go get they can get one big GPU and one small GPU, or you can link together your iGPU and your discrete GPU and use the iGPU to boost performance, kind of like Adobe does with the Intel integrated graphics and shit. There's a whole bunch of
Right.
options that are available to you with asynchronous computing. The problem is that, again, just like DirectX 12 or Vulkan in general, we've got to wait for not just game developers, but the big one's going to be games and maybe workstation type stuff. We got to wait for them to start programming their stuff to take advantage of these systems, and that is going to take, I mean,
Time.
there's really one game that fully takes that fully has all the DirectX 12 stuff available, and that's Ashes of the Singularity. As far as I know, there's no other one that.
That's not a game. It's
Well,
like
I mean, yeah, it's a benchmark, sure, but I mean, it's a game. But I think that's the only game out right now that fully utilizes DirectX 12's ability to do asynchronous computing and shit like that. So, who knows how long
Now,
that'll take. Maybe
Take
it'll be
this with a
quick,
grain
maybe
of
not.
salt. Take this with a grain of salt. Everybody in the chat. Rumor has it that The Last of Us 2 may be coming to PC as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's rumored. It's rumored. Sony's fully embracing PC? Question mark.
Good. Fuck that, dude.
Oh
I'm not.
my
I don't-
god, we're losing our exclusives.
Good. Fuck your exclusives. I want them all on
Dude,
PC.
I like my Twitter feed has been cancerous, dude. Like I've got nothing but fanboys and fangirls going on that shit. Going,
Oh my god, I don't.
fucking, I want to lose my game. It's like, oh my
The
god,
Xbox
shut
One
up.
Series X is slower because they're using this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yo, they're using the same controllers. What? Really? Come on, people. Really? They're using the same PCI 4.0 controller that are on most motherboards. Come on. What
Problem is
conversation are we
people.
really having?
Rev. People are not smart. Stop asking for people to be smart.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, he's not.
Who's like, so, like I've even like I was reading some comment. I don't know who it was, but they were like,
The
I
plastic
swear,
war is stupid.
I swear to God, if the first game goes to PC, I'm fucking done with Sony. This is ridiculous. And I'm like,
Where are they gonna go? Microsoft?
yeah,
Oh, wait,
you're
then
gonna,
they
yeah,
might.
you're gonna go game on a Switch, dude. You're gonna go game on a fucking Xbox. Okay.
Yeah, but it's only a matter of time for Nintendo kind of embraces PC too. So do you know what?
I'm happy for it. It's more money in their pockets.
And also, I, get
I
to
don't
play
know
the
why
game.
they didn't do this. Here's the thing, right? These companies do not make money off the hardware. They make
No, they
money off
don't.
the games. They've never made money off the hardware. Consoles always sell.
They're always
for
selling at a loss.
at
They're
a
always
lo-
selling at a loss.
not
Everyone
the
knows it.
entire life cycle, because it's not like the last gen of the PS2 was sold for a loss or anything like that. But
Or PS4,
certainly,
PS4.
certainly for the first several years, consoles are always sold at a loss. So why wouldn't you want to open it, even if you have to open up your own marketplace? I wouldn't even care if Sony opened up their own Sony marketplace and sold all their exclusives on the
As long as it's on
PC,
Epic, I'm fine.
because it's still money in their pocket. Even if somebody, like I said, even if somebody buys the console to then buy the games, you're still selling the console for a loss. So why wouldn't you just want to sell them the games if you could? Like, granted, there will always be people who would just want to buy the console. They don't want to deal with PCs or, whatever, for whatever reason. But for those who don't, why not open up the marketplace to them? It's more money for your pocket, and it's not like the digital distribution to PCs is going to be any more expensive than the digital distribution to consoles.
Well, yeah.
I agree.
I mean, I'm all for this happening because it's just, man.
It's
Fuck that.
fucking bad business. Blah, 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 blah.
It's bad business. It's good business. They're opening stuff. I'm fucking tired of these exclusives, or like this exclusive shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I mean, it made sense when it made
Well, if
sense
there's money,
when
if
the
there's money
split.
to be made.
Well, it made sense when the split between consoles and PCs was way bigger, right?
But now it's not.
But now it's, yeah, that's the thing. When console hardware was not PC hardware and porting things was a huge pain in the ass and shit like that. Okay, fine, that makes a lot more sense, right? But nowadays, consoles are PCs. They use desktop hardware. Certainly now with the PS5, I mean it's literally desktop hardware.
Well, I'm gonna
Whereas,
say
whereas
this.
before it was just desktop.
I'm gonna say that to your question. I know it's backwards compatible, but really, to be honest, I mean, most of these games that are coming out, I'd rather just spend the money on my stream setup and literally on other things than buying a console. Really, I can upgrade my PC for that, for what they're coming in at, honestly.
And that's the thing for us. That makes complete sense. I mean, I think what they were worried about is that if they started releasing their stuff on PC, that a whole bunch of people wouldn't buy the console.
That
But
really isn't true though, because people are gonna
That's
buy
the thing. I
regardless.
don't think. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch
Especially-
of PC players who will never buy consoles because they just like the PC. There's a whole bunch of people who buy both because they like both the console experience and the PC experience. And then there's a whole bunch of people who just buy consoles, and the only thing, they might buy a laptop or something, but the only thing they use that for is, business stuff or word processing or whatever. So I don't think the markets are as connected as these companies think they are. I don't think even if, and it still doesn't make sense to me because again, they were selling those consoles for a loss. So it's not like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, they're not special hardware. Like, it's like maybe they're worried because their console maybe doesn't have anything unique on it. Like the Switch can still sell even if all the games were like on PC, because the Switch is a unique piece of hardware versus like the PlayStation 4. Sorry, anyone likes PlayStation. I'm just saying how it is.
Jack Williams, your question, are you not able to play the game if the specific game like Marvel Ultimate Alliance is taken off the Steam store? Depends on what you mean by play. Do you mean actually play the game, or do you mean play it as it was working before, like with multiplayer and stuff? Because if all you want to do is play the game, or like single player or something, then yes. If you bought it on Steam, Steam has already said they will always allow you access to download it for as long as the Steam servers are up, and there will always be, like, if a game ever goes off Steam, like it's no longer sold, you will still be, not only will you still be able to get it, but they will do patches and stuff so that you can play it offline and shit like that. But you will lose functionality as far as like multiplayer and stuff goes. But I mean, that's
What's this
kinda
question relating to?
I have no idea. He just asked it.
Hold up.
And most of the games that you're talking about backwards compatibility
That's
wise,
terrible
most of those you can get on PC nowadays.
True. Certainly on the Microsoft Store.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
And-
let's play the Age of Empires 1 Definitive Edition. Fucking awesome.
I mean, me and
Age of
Brim have been
Empires is a good
talking.
game.
Me and Brim have been talking about this, about the Series X coming out. Like, I don't see it as an investment for me. Like, really, I really don't at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You're finally seeing the
But
PC
again,
way.
we're hardcore PC guys, so that's the thing. It's like,
No, I'm looking at the investment of money. I'd rather go invest that into other investments, honestly, like, TwitchCon or a PC upgrade if I need it in case of emergency, like I don't want to go and spend into a platform that, like I did last time, and the platform is not the greatest at launch.
Garbage.
Yeah.
And looks like I was gonna get one of these consoles because if PlayStation
Blue,
was
where'd
doing
you
the
go?
mobile. Like, I'm going to eat it up. Like if PlayStation, we remember that rumor of them doing a mobile
Jack says,
version.
I mean the ownership. If the game is taken off the store and you can't run the game even though you own the game.
no, you can.
You can.
Yeah,
You
like
can. It's just
there's
you're
a
not going to
couple
be
games.
supported.
There's a couple games that I've bought that were taken off the store later, like a couple of, like one or two of the versions of Duke Nukem 3D and something else. Like I still have access to them. I can
Look
still
at
play
Escape
them.
of Tarkov. So they have a
Tarkov.
sign in. They have a sign in option for Steam, and if you already have it on Steam, they'll support you.
Do you mean Escape from Tarkov?
Yes. Sorry, I butchered the name. My bad.
No,
At least
no.
you admit
The
it.
thing that
Thanks for the correction.
what depends on the publisher, Jack, is like what all is compatible. But Steam has already
Multiplayer,
said,
probably
yeah,
not.
that's the thing. It's like so if a game, say a game goes to the Epic Store and then is no longer supported on Steam, but you've already bought it. Yes, the developer does not have to enable multiplayer support for those people who have it on Steam to be able to play it with the people on Epic Games. That is up to the publisher. But for the game to work offline, that is required by Steam. I'm pretty sure it's in their it's not
TOS.
it's not terms of service, but it's the same thing but for the develop. It's the agreement that you have to sign when you decide to sell your game on the Steam store. A few of the stipulations is that if you end support, you have to enable offline play and whatever, this, that, and the other. So there are certain things that are up to the publisher, but not whether or not you can actually get access the game or play it offline if it goes off the Steam store.
That's the good thing about Steam, though.
The
It's one of
great
the
thing.
reasons I like them.
Yeah, I like the fact that they have the backup system, and like if you want to go burn a disc of it, you can.
Yep. Or a
It's one of the
USB
reasons
thumb
why
drive.
It's one of the reasons why Steam is great, and I'll always support it no matter what.
I mean, always. That's
I forgot to put that as a news article, but did you hear Linus was trying to retire?
I saw it.
Did you see his like crazy shit that he did this week and got everybody like talking?
Everyone's
was
talking
most-
about Linus again.
Yep.
That was insane. I was really believing he was gonna retire until he debunked that all in his fucking show,
he
the Man Show.
Imagine he trolled everyone, I think, doing
Well,
that.
no, I get what he was meaning. I get behind it. He wants to get back into what he loves, and
Yeah.
he's been consumed so much about the business side of things more than anything. So I get he wants to do a John Rettinger kind of deal where he has his own YouTube channel and he can just do just him only and, do what he loves to do. I get it. But he runs
and spend a little less
multi-
time worrying about all the Linus tech tips and spend a little more, because he said in his thing, it's how much time he's had to spend away from his family, working on Linus tech tips as an entity. And I can totally understand that,
Let's see, watching the EU, games titled The Death of Video Games Ownership. It's kind of a big deal, if you ask me.
I'll have to check it out, but like I said, Steam has protections in place for this kind of shit if it's what we're talking about.
And I think Origin has the same idea too. They kind of do the same. I think
good old games too. Good old games is
yeah.
for sure. Like, you can't do any. I mean, good old games, you have to.
Good old games, you own the game.
Yeah, it's a self-contained executable. There's no.
I own The Witcher, so.
There's no.
It's the same. It's the same with Android phones and Apple. Once you buy the app, you own it. Even if they take it off the market, you own it.
Although I think Android does not have the same provisions as Steam for being able to get it once it's been taken off the store.
All right, be right back. Right back. Maybe
Yep.
a little bit. Okay.
Alright.
Zone B lost.
What
I
was
mean, it is a
um,
problem, Jack, but
Now on Xbox, that's a whole different ball game because what they did with Guitar Hero back in the day, they removed all the DLC and like really kind of butchered.
Fucked
like
everybody,
Microsoft
yeah.
removed, fucked everybody because Microsoft's known for that. They've been taking things off their store that are older.
Zone advantage.
well, but here's the
So-
thing, right? Eventually, this will go to the courts. Like,
right.
and this is going to be one of the big things with like subscription services and all that kind of stuff, digital games, because right now digital property is property, but it's not quite treated the same as
Well, this
real
is the
life
same
property.
as we had the same. This is the same that we had with conversations about trading in games within
Right.
your digital library.
Yeah, exactly. So
And
eventually
the
this
French
stuff will
government
get to
says
the
it's
courts.
okay. The French government's
this is the-
allowing it.
This is the thing. There is no legal argument you can make about owning a piece of digital property that wouldn't allow you to treat it as just as like any other piece of your property. There's laws that prevent anybody from saying you can't sell your car once you've bought it. Honda doesn't own the rights to your car. You do once you've purchased it. So I don't see what the difference is. But same thing. Like even if you want to go, oh, it's copyrighted material. It's like, yeah, but you can still resell a book or a movie, DVD or something after you've bought it.
Right.
There shouldn't be any legal distinction between doing that physically and doing that digitally, especially with the arguments that they give for
Jack is
digital
sending it to
property.
you, Brimstone, the video and everything. I think it is on Discord.
Okay.
Because even according to their own arguments, they take the stance that, oh, you're not buying the digital you're not buying
Well, the French
game.
government standpoint is great. I like what they said
Yeah.
about trading in games. I think it should be a universal thing. You should be
Yeah.
able, if you don't play the game
Trade
anymore,
and sell used digital games. Yeah, why not?
and make a little profit on the side. I'm cool with all that.
And there's no conflict with that and copyright law, because copyright law allows you to sell the license you own to a piece of copyrighted material to somebody else after you've purchased it. Like I said, you can sell a DVD, you can sell a book, and there are legal protections in place to do that. So I don't see how they could make a legal distinction in the argument between that and doing it with a piece of digital copyrighted property. But all right, Jack, we'll see you
Right.
later.
See you later, Jack.
So like I said, eventually, yeah, there are problems coming out with stuff like this. They've been around for a while. We've known what they are. But I don't see how a game developer or Disney or whoever could win the argument if they tried to take it to court all the way up to the Supreme Court level. That, oh, if you buy it digitally, you can't then resell it, trade it in, transfer the title, the ownership, whatever, So luckily, like we said, Steam, Origin, good old games, there are plenty of digital distributors who are doing the right things, allowing, I mean, maybe not 100%, because like Steam still doesn't allow trading for digital stuff yet in every country, but it's better than nothing. That you still get, it's not like a game disappears off of Steam and you can't access it ever again. And eventually this stuff will go through the court system, and we'll get rulings that they should be favorable. Like I said, I can't see how the arguments for physical property don't also apply to digital property, but
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Apparently, my brother told me this. Like, sent me a post on Instagram. The 13-year-old daughter was on the helicopter with Kobe when he crashed.
Aw, that's so sad.
yeah. But did she die?
I'm pretty sure she did. I think.
What the?
Like I said, it's with the way, like probably more till it's all confirmed. But it says we only know one of the kids we know is on the plane. I said on the plane, Tism, on the helicopter. Yeah, depressing update.
His oldest daughter, yeah. That's what they're saying.
Wait, so his
That's
old.
bad.
So is the oldest daughter is the only one that's left? That and the mom, or is the mom alive too?
It's the youngest and the I think it's the two other daughters that he has, yeah. The one did
Zone
die
C
supposedly.
lost.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
yikes,
know.
dude.
We'll know more in the upcoming days.
Shit.
He had 4 children and a wife, so we'll find out in the next couple days what really went down. I think it was a mechanical failure. That's mostly what
Or
happens
pilot
with
error.
helicopters or pilot error.
Yeah, a lot
Because
of this stuff
it
is
looked
pilot
like
error.
it looked like from the pictures he took off and then they went partially like from the landing strip over, and it looked like it mechanical failure and it just crashed into the mountain side.
It happens.
It happens all the time.
Dude, yeah, plane and like flying vehicle crashes especially. You know, John Denver, like I said, there was that female artist.
Buddy
Like, there's
Holly.
been a whole bunch of people dying due to small plane and other flying vehicle
What's his name?
failures.
Steve, the one of the greatest guitarists ever
3 minutes.
what's his name that does Pride and Joy? Died in a helicopter crash too.
So, yep.
It happens, man. That's just crazy on a Sunday, man. Life is short, man. You never know. We all know it so well here. So we've had people that we know have passed away, you know, at a young age from unexpected shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And hopefully hopefully whatever is remaining of his kids, hopefully they, you know, they make it out better. Hopefully they don't, you know, become messed up.
Yeah.
I never thought that guy would go that way, though. Honestly, like I would, you know what I mean? Like I thought for sure that dude was gonna
I hope that, you know,
pass from like
I'll
pushing
be
himself
when-
too much or something. You know?
I hope, you know, like I said about Paul Walker, I hope they, you know, they just blinked and it was over. You know, they didn't suffer. That's
Right.
the thing.
Yeah.
I think they should be playing NBA games today. I think they should take, cancel games and just make them up the next day. But, you know, shit, life goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, YouTube. Pete, we were all talking about that earlier. YouTube.
Which thing?
In your multiple YouTubers hint on copyright claims from Full Screen.
Oh, yeah, for using numbers. The number 3, the number 32. What was the? Hang on, let me get the. Oh shit, I don't have it up. I can't remember the name of the company, but some company is copyright claiming a whole bunch of YouTube videos for using just regular ass numbers. And of course, because of the way YouTube's copyright system works, once a claim has been made, until the claim has been sorted, the person making the claim gets all the ad revenue for the video. So, man, and this just shows the silliness of YouTube's copyright. I mean, YouTube systems in general, but especially their copyright systems. Like, I don't know how it doesn't work where if somebody copyrights it, it doesn't go to anybody and they're all just not held in, you know, some escrow account or limbo or something until the decision's been made. And then whoever wins gets the whole amount that's been earned, you know, for however long the thing takes. But yeah, this is some bullshit.
YouTube.
Fuck.
They
Yep.
allowed shit to go on for so long. They wanted to finally, you know, put their foot down.
And they never end up doing it.
Not fully, anyways. You know what I mean? Like they tell us YouTubers you're not allowed to upload anything depicting death or violence. It's gotta be family friendly. But yet CNN is the first ones on the block. Same with Fox and all
Right.
these other networks. And it's like, wait a minute. And then they go as far as even uploading their own shit that breaks YouTube guidelines. And it's like,
Right.
Like, who are these rules good for? Are these rules good for everybody? Because if so, then it needs to be enforced for everybody, not just select few.
Yep.
Just because they pissed you off or had an unfavorable opinion about you, you know. It's
Or it's the same
I
thing with
think
Twitch. You know, Twitch thoughts are allowed as long as you're nice and big. You know, you're a big enough presence that they're making enough money off you. But if you're not, then yeah, no hoeing for you. And you know, it's like, come on, guys. Oh shit. Yeah.
Opponent took
Life
the
just-
lead. Zone B captured. You have the advantage. Press on.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like I said, YouTube had the golden goose, man. They had it. They could do whatever the fuck they wanted.
It's yours.
Make so much fucking money. But, you know, they want to get crazy with the rules and shit. And it's like, man, you're just driving people away from your platform. You're killing any interest people have.
Well, they gotta know that they're alienating people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you single people out because you don't like them. That's your first fuck up. Actually, is to do that.
It's like the first,
They-
second, and third fuck up.
Like, they gotta know what they're doing is wrong. Like, they have to know. Like, their platform is literally like falling down this fucking rabbit hole that they're not gonna be able to find themselves out of unless they start acting the part that they want to enforce. Like, stop being this double-sided, hypocritical, nonsensical
Zone
idiot
B
and
lost.
just push forward with all your policies that you want to push forward with,
Well, especially just
and
make some
honor everything
rules
you're gonna do.
and yeah, apply them equally. That's it. That's all you know.
Yeah.
Most people, even if they don't like the rules, as long as the rules are applied evenly, they'll deal with it. But they're not even doing that. Their rules are vague as fuck. Nothing's defined, and then even if they were, they're not enforcing them equally anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's
You captured Zone B.
It's
Zone
like,
Nice
what do
and
you
big.
do? Like, you follow the rules, and you're still gonna get flagged. Well, like, some of these channels, like, they've been following the rules. They make family-friendly content, and yet, oh, well, we can't flag you, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of your most viral videos and them.
yep.
Like, they know that they're their own worst enemy, right? Like, YouTube
They
needs
have
to. I
to.
hope that
I don't
they
see how
have
they
to know
couldn't.
that they're. Yeah, dude. Because why would you take away revenue from yourself? Why would you shoot yourself in the foot just because you don't want to pay that YouTuber? Like,
It's not over.
The big thing for
What?
me is kowtowing to advertisers, because it's like, man, do you think the fucking Super Bowl kowtows to Do you think advertisers tell the Super Bowl like, oh, we're not
What to
going to put our
do?
ads on your show unless you don't do this? And they'd be like, no, fuck you, dude. We're the Super Bowl. You're gonna follow our fucking guidelines. And YouTube could have said the same thing, because what the fuck is a bigger audience than YouTube? They could have said, no, we're putting your ads on whatever videos we feel like. It's going to be a random fucking distribution, or maybe some system where you can, choose the general type of content it's going on, but nothing like specific. And
like,
it's,
YouTube's the only platform that people think that just because there's an ad on that video, that the company that's responsible for the ad
Hit them
supports everything that person does. Like,
see, I don't even believe that though. I don't think
I-
people actually think, or I don't think enough
I don't-
people think that.
well, evidently enough people thought that they made a fucking rule for it, or
I think that's the
advertisers-
perception. I think that's
These
just the
advertisers
perception.
are pulling. These advertisers are pulling out from YouTube brand deals because the unfavorable YouTuber has a shitty opinion. It's like, that is not how advertising works. Like,
Well, and
what
I
are
don't,
you
like I said, I don't
morons
think that's actually
doing?
what's happening. I think that's more all about perception, and the advertisers are just using that to
Stand strong.
try
As an
and
excuse to pull out.
that's as their I mean, yeah, basically excuse, and then trying to use that as leverage to try and get YouTube to do what they want. And if YouTube had just from the very beginning said, no, fuck you guys, we're running ads how we're running ads, you can either advertise with us or not. It's like, what are they going to do? Not advertise on YouTube? Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man. No company in their right mind would choose that. It's like the audience for YouTube is way too I mean, what else has, how many billion people visit YouTube a day?
Captured 2 zones.
how many fucking billions of hours of content are watched every day? Like, what, they're not going to advertise on it because their ad might end up on some fucking supposedly alt-right dude who says some edgy shit or something? It's like, no, dude, nobody's fucking doing that.
Just
But-
a little update. It was his daughter that was in the plane with another basketball part of her training camp. Was also an apparent. The plane, if you seen the footage of it, it's just destroyed. It's
You
nothing.
mean
left of it.
helicopter?
Helicopter, nothing left of it. They were actually traveling to another event that Kobe Bryant was hosting. Why he took his private jet. So I'm assuming, if I'm the family of the other one, I'm assuming they'll probably set up something. You know, his wife will set up something to pay for the family's expenses and what, so they don't get sued.
Yeah. Well, not like they don't have the
Yes.
money.
Well, Kobe Bryant's estate's worth billions, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody will be financially taken care of. The crash, the pilot died,
The wolves hunt. Your
and
leader
2 young people died, including his daughter, his oldest.
Damn.
It's fucking terrible.
Well, sorry for them, yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
You never think that, you know, taking one helicopter trip would just end that.
Yeah, I mean,
What were you guys talking about? I was using the restroom and checking out.
oh,
the breaking
YouTube
news.
and their bullshit with
YouTube's becoming a dumpster fire, really, to be honest. I mean, if you really think about it, you got too many entities in the jar trying to find the right solution for YouTube, and it's just gonna all end up in court, honestly. You
Yep.
know, it's gonna be our government, YouTube, Google, all these entities coming in because everybody wants a piece of a pie. You got ad revenue coming in. You have you know. You really can't category YouTube, really, to be honest. You can't categorize these video platforms because it'll be a domino effect. Because you will have places like Storyfire, like Library, like BitChute following suit if they do this. There's a watered down effect behind it. So I get YouTube rolled over, but at the same time, you know, this is not over yet. This is gonna be a fight for many years coming.
oh yeah. Yeah, this shit's gonna play out long term.
But how do you category YouTube? It's not a TV thing. So it's going to open up the floodgates to what are we going to category? They're going to have to make a new category for it. It's kind of like vaping in a way.
Sure.
How are you going to category vaping? It's not a tobacco product. It's a smoking product, but how do you category it? That's the fight we're having now, and it's going to be the fight with YouTube. What do we category? Same with, and it also the trickle down effect too is, you know, the streaming platforms.
Right.
That also affects the streaming platforms because how do you category it? Or are video platforms like Disney Plus? Then how do you category those things?
Yeah, does Amazon Prime count as TV? Because
Right.
I mean, I don't see how it could. It's not broadcast.
Iron Banner.
But
It kind of
then
reminds
again,
me how the Digital Millennial Act started,
right?
in a way. So they're going to find a solution eventually. I just think, you know, our government and a lot of other governments are ran by old fucks that have no idea or no clue
How any of it
They're
works.
not- how any of it works. Yeah.
Opponent claims zone A.
Yeah, I
Unfortunately.
mean, like, how many, like, senators and governors that are just so fucking out of touch, dude? Like,
A lot of them don't even use
Ugh.
smartphones. They're still on flip phones. So, you know, my thing is, how do you category it? And that's the fight, because you have the sheep pie that's completely corrupted. You have government should not be in certain things, and YouTube, when it comes to that, government shouldn't be in it, in my opinion. Should there be some regulations on YouTube? Yes. YouTube's been a wild, wild west for a while. They've allowed a lot of things. I'm all for some changes, but I'm not all for, you know, going gun-ho and, you know, changing all of it. I don't think
Well, yeah,
we
I
need
don't
to.
want YouTube to become broadcast TV. Like, that's one of the reasons I like
No,
YouTube, is
hell
because it's
no.
not broadcast TV, and that's what the FCC and them are trying to do. And I mean, that's the one thing I don't want.
Right.
You know, but that's what the FCC is pushing for. Who knows if
Right.
they'll be able to make the legal arguments and get the courts to side with them. I mean, it's tough.
Well, what the thing is, I was listening to a few shows. I don't like the fact that YouTube buries feature people. You know, I don't like that. The feature meant I don't want to see a daily show. I don't want to see a late night show. They keep featuring that bullshit, and it's like, feature what I come to watch YouTube for, and I'm really getting sick and tired of it. It's like then they throw like even with ad blocker on, they still find a way to get around that with advertisements. Like, okay, so I watch something, then there's an ad every like 10 seconds. It's like, come on. Are we really going this way with YouTube as a whole? And Daily Motion's kind of gone that way too. And I just don't want to see these platforms conform themselves when it's supposed to be a platform where you can speak your mind, do videos, have a good time, be a creator. And it's going to be a trickle-down effect. It's already, you're already seeing it with Twitch and Mixer in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Where, for instance, sports now is becoming a thing on those platforms, and you're watching just tons of advertisement. And just people just shaking their heads going like, is it really a gaming platform? Is it an open source platform for me to, put out my opinions and do video? It's really becoming that way. It's really shitty, but we're going to see in the next 5. I think there's a war going to be happening between, and I see lawsuits happening just from the content creators alone.
Sure.
I see a lot of lawsuits happening going forward because bottom line, and I've had this talk with Blue before, it's if you're not protecting yourself now with opening up a website or finding revenue other ways, I mean, you're kind of going to be left in the dust and kind of fighting a battle that you can't win.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's like I hear all these YouTubers complaining, oh, my revenue's being cut by 85%. It's like, did you have a place in action to prevent that? That's where you kind of go like Boogie and a few others. It's like, do you have a website? A lot of people are going to this website method where they put their content behind a paywall, and it's the way it's going to be going.
Yeah.
Look at Flowplane, for instance. I know it's not an alternative to, YouTube, but it's a way for content creators to make money.
Sure.
With no ads, no issues. And I would pay for it, honestly. I'd pay a subscription fee just to watch my top tier YouTubers on a platform, per month if I could, really. I just think it's egregious that, YouTube, is going this way. It hurts us as the viewer.
Oh, it hurts everybody. It hurts creators, it hurts viewers, it hurts advertisers, even though they somehow think it doesn't. Like, they are limiting the
well, this is the same
amount
platform
of people that are seeing their ads.
This is the same platform that allowed beheadings for like 5 years.
While simultaneously banning fucking who are the big ones that got, or big-ish ones that got banned for silly opinions or whatever. I can't remember. But yeah, beheading videos are okay, but don't you dare say that slightly edgy opinion.
Yeah, it's funny because YouTube was like the first platform that I got to watch, and this was before Live Leak was a thing. All of those kind of videos, right? And at the beginning, you were able to see one guy, one horse. You saw BDSM Pain Olympics on this site. You saw the Japanese chick strapping a tube to her ass, sitting in a chair with a hole in it, and a dude sitting underneath her. Like, you saw some wicked shit on this site for the longest time. And anytime we reported it, YouTube just sat there idly by, did nothing. And this is why I say this is everything that YouTube's going through right now is own fault, right? Like,
it's its own downfall.
A lot of these things went on for years, and I mean, we reported it, we tried to tell them about it, and it took a major news network to come out and be like, "Yo, this is the kind of shit your kids are watching."
Well, we were talking about this 10 years ago when we were doing the Night Owl. We said the same thing. It's like people need to wake up. You keep throwing a blind eye at it, eventually it's gonna hurt everybody in return, and that's what's
And it
happening
has.
here.
Yeah, it has. It's like
It's
yo,
not just
like,
the kid. It's not just the kids that are being affected. It's us as content creators, or anybody like this show. It affects us no matter what. You know, at the end of the day, and YouTube needs to be very transparent with everybody, and that's what they're doing wrong with. They're not being transparent. They're just allowing government entities to roll in and take siege on everything. It's like, okay, I get you don't have all the money in the world. I get you don't have the infrastructure to, you know, put money into it. But, you know, here's the thing, just sell yourself off then. Google, just sell your shit. If you don't have the money and the infrastructure, let somebody else come in and do it. Sell yourself off. They should have done this years ago.
well,
I was saying this years ago.
I guess they had a lot of money when they first bought this.
Well, it's like Stadia. I sorry for making the comparison, but it's like Stadia. It's a good idea in theory, but really, in honesty, they don't have the infrastructure and the money behind it.
Right.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm back from dinner. What's on now? I guess. Huh, well,
Oh, just still talking about YouTube
yeah.
and how much
Rev.
bullshit they are.
Yeah.
It's not no longer rumor. I said rumor. It's confirmed. His 13-year-old
Yeah,
daughter.
I was
gone.
talking about that when I came back. Yeah, that and another person from her training camp thing as well, and parent as well. So, you know, right now it's all everybody's ganging up over.
My brother was showing
everybody's
me the
grouping up.
game because apparently his team that he retired from is playing right now, and they're all crying. Like RS, one of them is crying right now, and it's like, man, cancel that game, dog.
Yeah, everybody's just in shock, bro. It's-
Show must go
And he
on,
was-
man. I mean, life
he was
has to
gonna
go
go-
on.
And he wanted to go watch LeBron surpass him. Like LeBron was gonna surpass his amount of goals. And he wanted to go see her, and yeah.
But as far as YouTube goes, it's I think government entities don't need to be inside of YouTube dictating
Be
what
back
they
out
need
of
to do.
matchmaking.
Hang on.
I'm all for the government just not getting involved in YouTube. Like,
So good.
Agreed.
it's okay for me to jump in on this one.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't think that the government should get involved. I know, like I think the most the government should do is enforce, is make you decide if it's a publisher or a platform. That's what I think the government should do at most, but not
Yeah.
get involved.
It's gonna be a 5-year fight between, you know, because it's becoming a thing. Like I said earlier, how do we categorize YouTube or all these streaming platforms?
It's
They
not.
want it.
Oh, hey, what do you know?
They want to categorize it as a TV platform.
Well, yeah,
To
the
me,
FCC
that
wants
doesn't
it
work.
as TV. The
That'd be-
streaming and video platforms don't, because that comes
but
with
it
a
really
lot of
isn't
extra
TV,
baggage.
though.
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, depends on what you consider TV, and I don't know, man. It's a complicated
it's-
legal question.
Well, I think
That's
all of them are probably gonna take him because if this isn't involved losing money, eventually one of these big companies will challenge the FTC to like maximum power.
Well,
Like, I
it's
could
gonna
see
end up
maybe
with
Disney
tons of
doing that.
lawsuits. It's gonna end up with tons of lawsuits, and
but those take a
Traders are
while
gonna
and they
sue.
cost a lot of money, and you know.
I could see Disney doing it probably because if it tries to affect their
No.
profits,
Well,
the
that's the
mouse
thing.
doesn't
See,
think it mess with.
Disney is all about family-friendly content, though, so they're already within the guidelines of TV, basically, except for a few things. So
Pete,
I could
ahead of tower.
all right.
See the news?
I could
I can maybe
see
see them fighting it though. Like I can see
Maybe.
them potentially fighting it.
maybe, but I could also see them just
talking about it.
His 13-year-old
just
daughter was in-
skirting it by and
So sad.
you know, I don't know.
Nobody gives a shit
I mean,
about
what about Netflix? Like, there's tons. Like, and what about HBO and who? Like HBO. Because HBO isn't like maybe Disney because they're more of a, like kid show, like kid friendly. But I can't see HBO backing down from this or like.
Well, they might, because they already Game of Thrones is on TV. This is the thing.
Yeah, but HBO is mostly adult shows. You may not like their shows, but their shows are all
No,
about.
Fine,
adult
fair
stuff.
enough, but it still complies with broadcast regulations. Like for cable,
like-
at least, that's the closest thing. Like broadcast TV, like actual antenna TV, has different stipulations than cable TV, but HBO and all that, they all comply to the cable regulations anyway. So even if YouTube or whatever, every streaming platform was regulated like a cable TV, set of channels or whatever, they'd still probably be at least close enough to compliance with it that they wouldn't have to change much. It's really the YouTube and stuff that it's a big deal, because there's a lot of things you can do on YouTube that you can't do on cable
Yep.
TV
Well, the
without.
corporations, they want to ruin everything, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, they want to get rid. Okay, I mean, this is ultimately because this is gonna affect news, YouTube. It doesn't affect like any YouTuber. Like actually, I should say any. Like all YouTubers will be affected by
Yeah.
this.
I mean,
And
almost all. Sure, there's a few that won't, but the vast
Like, maybe
majority,
those-
sure.
Because like it's this kid something's not kid friendly. Does that mean YouTube like puts in like a demonetized state? Like it can't be monetized at all?
I don't know about that.
Because I'm wondering, does not being your channel being kid friendly, does that make you demonetized, or
I'm not
like
sure.
what else is it?
I'd have to look
Like
into
what
it.
other ramifications of it?
I can't remember all of the individual ramifications.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, fucking they have like YouTube. We had a golden age, but now I guess
No.
if you're a free content creator, get fucked. It's basically what YouTube's telling you.
Yeah, I mean, Twitch
You
said the
can't- you
same
can't-
thing.
You can't make entertaining videos anymore. You have to go watch those stupid late night hosts and get fucked. Basically.
That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, like they just throw that in your face. You have to go dive deep if you're looking for your favorite content creator at this point.
Fuck. I beat start the game by that. I just don't want to fucking do that, man. Like I fucking hate this whole shit because in YouTube, I always see my recommended. I'm always getting fucking all these late night show guys. I'm like, leave me the fuck alone, you fucking cockroaches.
Doesn't matter.
Jesus.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I even try to like a block, like on YouTube, you can block certain videos from popping up or certain channels, and it'll still recommend me it. And I'm like, fuck you guys.
Careful with that.
Yeah.
I know you'll use this plan.
Well, you guys, I hate to do this yet, but I gotta get going. All right.
All right, dude.
All right,
All
man.
right, brosos.
See you laters.
Brim left. What a
He did. Oh, but not so. Yeah, that one.
yeah, but fucking just. I don't know. I think the government's gonna get involved, and we're all fucked. That's all I see this as.
Well, somebody will fight him. I mean, it might not be YouTube. Oh, God damn it. It might not be YouTube, but somebody will, because even if Google has,
Hey, Microsoft,
bent
get
the
your
knee.
shit together. Here's the other thing. Microsoft, get your shit together. 250 million Microsoft consumer records have been exposed on the internet.
Oh,
Jesus.
Jesus.
That was the other
Thank you,
news article I
Microsoft.
post. Thanks, Microsoft. You fucking
Right.
jackasses.
Always doing yeoman's work.
Real quick consideration articles this week. Cold Iron Studios got purchased by another company. Supposedly the Aliens director or whatever for Aliens Isolation and whatnot got picked up by another studio.
Jesus.
So they've been tossed around. Another consideration this week: Nintendo Switch PC emulation gets audio and stutter fixes for PC.
That's good. I
Right
mean,
on.
I have played get my like Zelda on PC. It's pretty cool, but it's like I just prefer my Switch because it's more like my style.
Now, here's another thing: Tencent is buying or wants to buy
Tencent?
Conan X. Yep, Tencent wants to buy the developers of Conan Exile.
They better not fucking do it. Don't submit to those commies.
Yeah, I'm not liking Tencent's fucking aggressive takeover of a whole lot of gaming things. I'm not a big fan.
This is where I think the government should get involved, like shit like this. But
Well, like I
they're
said
too busy
last
going
week.
after YouTube.
Well, it's not just that, man. It's real like antitrust is really complicated, and it especially is complicated when you're talking about
And it only applies to
entities
American
overseas.
companies.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I don't know,
But
and
can't
I'm
the
not a lawyer,
government
so
enforce
I don't know
something that-
enough. That's
But I'm
no,
wondering, could the government enforce something on like American companies can't like participate in like Chinese like companies, I guess you say.
That's the thing. How do you tell a company you can't operate in another country? What jurisdiction do you have?
I'm pretty sure you can do the fact that you can't like sell to like it's like Tencent, for example.
Again, I'm pretty sure that only applies to American companies.
Yeah,
The
and
only thing the U.S.
Ameri-
government could do is say, if you do this, then you can't operate in this country. But I don't think that's part. I don't think they have the legal power to do that.
I'm pretty sure they could though. Could they?
I mean, like, what, literally could? Yeah, sure, they could literally do it, but I don't think they have the legal power to do it. That's the question.
I think they. I don't know. Fuck, this is. It's hard
It's
to think about
complicated.
because I just don't like this whole Tencent situation. Like I know I shit on Epic all the time because I can, they deserve it. But it's like, man, if I had to pick which one I'm more bothered with, is Tencent.
Yeah.
Like Epic is whatever.
Also, we got a trailer for what is it? Nordi? I'm butchering the name.
Mordor?
Yeah, the Dark Souls, the Japanese
Oh.
Dark Soul game.
Oh, some of the Dark Souls Game of Thrones game.
Yeah, they're having a number 2 supposedly
It's
at
Elven something or whatever. George R. R. Martin's running it or doing stuff on it.
And
But
the
you know what?
the
I'm down
biggest
for
news
that.
of the week was Dying Light 2 getting delayed indefinitely.
Yeah.
Iron Banner.
That's
That's a
fucking
shame.
that's a tragedy. Because
Yes, it
Dying
is.
Light is such a good game. Like it
It
really
is.
is. I think it's the best zombie game out there. Fuck anyone else who likes these shitty like Dead Rising games.
I mean, as far
And
as
we
open
already-
world goes, I agree with you. I don't know about
We already
other
talked
game
about
types.
the whole Xbox and PlayStation 5 already with the whole controller situation. With the NVMe controller on the motherboard. One's going to be faster than the other, but they're both using the same controller, so I don't see why they wouldn't be the same speeds. Unless one of the companies gimping their shit, I highly doubt it.
Or they could just be hardware. You know, the other company's not putting in good enough, is it Bluetooth? Antennas and shit.
NVMe drive, that's what it's all about. That's what everybody's been talking about on the internet this week. And this one we were talking about earlier. This one you were pretty passionate about. Nintendo wins a court case against Germany and Norway.
Yes.
Is that a good thing or a
Nintendo?
bad thing now?
Oh, it's actually kind of terrible. You were saying Nintendo, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
You were very
so-
passionate about this subject.
Oh man, this is, yeah. So Nintendo just won this lawsuit against the German and Norwegian government or whatever that says that it is legal for them to stop people from canceling their pre-orders.
Is yours.
Jesus. That's some savagery, man.
That's
Yeah,
some
man.
fucked up shit. I'm surprised they even
Right?
beat the government though. Like 2 governments. Like how did they do it? Fuck, how much are those lawyers getting paid?
You know, they're government employees, so, you know.
No, because usually when these governments sue these companies, a lot of times they win.
Now, this is just like, these are European countries, so I'm not sure how I can't remember if
Zone B captured.
I don't think this has ever been ruled on in an American court, whether or not a platform has to allow you to cancel a pre-order. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know all this stuff well enough. But I could have sworn that there were protections for a consumer in place
Is yours.
in the United States, at the very least, saying something to the effect of a company can't stop you from canceling a pre-order or something like that. But yeah, that's no bueno though. I don't think companies should be able to do that.
Is it can you cancel on any on this U.S. store in the Switch, or you can only or you can't cancel at all pre-orders?
That's the thing, I don't know.
I mean, if you can't cancel Nintendo pre-orders at all, here's my advice. As someone who even likes Nintendo, by the way,
Don't pre-order.
don't pre-order.
Yeah.
There you go.
pretty much.
Unless there's like a Steam you can cancel it, don't pre-order like at all.
That's what I would say. You know, I hope that this
Till Shaq sings, and he
I
is
hope
very
that this starts a trend of people not pre-ordering from the Nintendo store specifically because they can't cancel it. I'd love to see that.
Zone B captured.
Show them that we're
I mean,
not gonna
if you
that we're
really
not
don't
gonna put
like
up
it,
with this shit.
then don't pre-order. Like you can still buy the game, I guess, if you want to. You know, I heard Sword and Shield's kind of bad, but you can still buy the game if you want to day one or day whatever. But it's like, just don't pre-order.
Yeah. Again, this all goes digital copyright and digital property. You know. Oh, how did that miss?
Which will only get sold if it goes to the Supreme Court, which
Yeah,
will
well,
be
that's
never.
the thing. It's, you know, like if you pay for a physical, so, you know, if you pre-order a phone, I'm pretty sure that a company can't tell you can't cancel your pre-order of that phone if they haven't delivered it to you. So I don't see why the same thing wouldn't also apply for a video game. You know, it's still a product that has not been yet delivered to you.
Digital goods.
Yeah,
Hey,
you know,
there's
so
no argument against it, so we're gonna have to wait and
I
see.
can't see, you know, I'm not a lawyer, but I can't see, you know, I'm pretty good with lawyers speak. And I can't see a legal argument that you can make that would distinguish the two enough that you could say, well, you can pre-order, you can cancel a pre-order on a physical item, but you can't cancel a pre-order on a digital item. I don't see an argument you could make that
Especially
would work.
digital's becoming more and more a thing though now. Everyone's waiting to catch up now.
Pushing. Zone B captured.
So, but again, like a lot of this stuff, it just hasn't made it through the courts because it takes years to decades for, you know, arguments to make their way through. You know, you got to go through one court, then another, and you know,
That's
takes
if the
months and
Supreme
years.
Court even
and-
takes it, because that's the one that.
Well, no,
ultimately
they
decides
would
it.
definitely take something like this because this is not only hot topic as far as like, you know,
Zone B lost.
just in general, but it's also it has big impacts on the economy and, you know, people. The thing it might not do is it might not be a game that brings this into the forefront, right? Like the Supreme Court is most certainly going to see a case that will where they will rule on this issue and it will affect games, but it might not be games that ends up being the case that brings it to it because, you know, gaming
Like,
is
what would be
such
the
a
case though?
well, any other digital property.
Press on.
You know, maybe a big software like Adobe or something, or maybe it would be, you know, a website, right? Because websites are digital property. You know, you don't buy the I mean, you can literally buy servers, but I mean, you know, when you purchase a website URL and host from a
Advantage is yours.
web company, you're not actually purchasing any servers or any physical property. You're purchasing an IP basically. You're purchasing the rights to, you know, operate a website that has some specific name or URL or whatever. So, you know, I could easily see that
The howl.
something like that being the case that makes it to the Supreme Court because it's a lot more firmly nestled in the business strata. Whereas with games, it's kind of like, oh, who cares because it's a video game. You know, like how are you going to get Supreme Court justices to care about video games? They're not, but they might care about, like, you know, websites and its implications or something like that. So, you know, you never know, right? That's how the law goes. Just like
No, but
right to repair, right? Video game console makers were blatantly in violation of right to repair for the longest time, and it took a car lawsuit. I mean, consoles were included with it, but it was the one against Hyundai and Toyota. It's Hyundai and somebody. But it was the same arguments. It's like you can't tell people they can't work on their own stuff and void their warranty just because they worked on it. You know, and it happened to also apply to video game consoles. You know, whatever. So
yeah, but I was saying that this will have to be taken by the Supreme Court because no, like low court will like even if a low court takes something even related to video games, it's not going to be in law or whatever you want to call it until like it goes to the
no,
Supreme
it
Court.
is. No, it is. The ruling for a lower court stands until the Supreme Court decides whether or not they're going to take it. So if a lower court rules, it goes to the next higher court and the next higher court and it keeps going. Once a higher court, once it's a little complicated because like the second from the third from the top, Supreme Court, and then it's the Federal Court of Appeals, and then I think there's another, the Ninth Circuit, and then there's state courts. But like say Ninth Circuit, right? If they rule on it, and then the plaintiffs in the lawsuit bring it up to the Supreme Court or the other side if they rule against them. If the Supreme Court decides not to take it, then the lower court's ruling stands. But if the Supreme Court decides to take it, then the lower court's ruling is placed on hold until the Supreme Court adjudicates their decision, and then that decision stands. So it all depends on how, the lower court rulings do stand if the Supreme Court or the higher courts decide not to take them. So that's what's worrying about that Oracle ruling with I think it was Ninth Circuit, deciding that an API does not count. What's up, Russian dude? That an API is not a method of operation, and therefore is not, therefore that Oracle is able to classify their API under copyright statute. So the Supreme Court should be. I know they're not making their decision, but I think they said they are deciding whether or not to take the case, and that decision should be made around sometime like June or July of this year. So in June or July of this year, we'll have at least the answer of whether or not the Supreme Court will see the case, and then depending on that, if they don't see it, then the lower court decision holds. If they do decide it, then we get into Supreme Court arbitration. I can't see how they wouldn't take it though, because the Supreme Court has ruled they were the ones that originally ruled that an API is a method of operation and therefore cannot be copyrighted or held under copyright statute. So I don't see how they wouldn't take that case and rule as they did previously, after seeing if any new arguments are being made. But you never know. It's going to be an interesting time for computers, gaming, software,
This decade at least.
Yeah, this decade for sure. Because probably a lot of this stuff is, certainly we had right to repair, and that was a big one last decade. That'll probably be challenged a few more times by a couple more manufacturers. I know a lot of them, they've let it go. Like Sony and Microsoft will still put warranty void if removed stickers on their products, but they just can't enforce that in the United States. But who knows? Tesla is going to be a big one, because Tesla does all the same shit that console manufacturers and Hyundai and all these other places. They don't even allow you access to your to the software, and if you do any outside of their ecosystem repairs on your stuff, they try and lock you out. There was that thing on Joe Rogan with the kid who Frankenstein together two wrecked Teslas, and he had to go through a whole bunch of bullshit hacking into the OS and unlocking a bunch of stuff and doing all this other shit because he couldn't get Tesla updates and shit like that, which is blatantly in violation of the right to repair statutes. But because Tesla's such a new company and all that, they just kind of get away with it. So that'll be a big one, and that'll help,
because digital and all that's becoming the standard. So
Yep.
This is all going to catch up.
Well, not just that, every device now has a digital, it used to be you get a microwave. It's not like there was software in the microwave, but now, there's a goddamn touchpad and screen on your fridge. So it's like, yeah, again, it's going to get interesting for a lot of this stuff. So
I guess, is that it for now, I guess?
I don't know.
Anyone got anything else, or do you think we should end it here?
It's up to you guys. I
There
got
was some
nothing
other
more.
stuff. But it's up to you. You know, we lost Brem. We have been going for an hour and 40 almost. So it's about the time that we would end it anyway. If we just want to go like to the end of this round.
I say we just end it here now. Cause I think it's
here at this point.
There was nothing else. Nobody has any final thoughts on anything.
Zone A captured.
hentai is art. That's
Press
all.
on.
Today was an interesting day, actually. I mean, if you're a basketball fan, it was interesting.
I was gonna say not so much in gaming, but certainly just in life. Yeah.
I mean, I would say more depressing than interesting.
Well, yeah.
The
You know,
lead is
I mean,
yours.
life really do be that way sometimes.
Life comes at you fast.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are you gonna end it?
I guess I'll tab out and all this other shit. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for everybody for watching. We'll probably see you in a little bit for overtime, and we'll see you next week. Otherwise, peace out.